From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's Game 3 of this 4-game series. The Astros taking on the Seattle Mariners. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, a couple of lefties dueling tonight. Dallas Keuchel for the Astros and Joe Saunders for the Seattle Mariners. And both these teams have seen quite a bit of each other to this point of the season, Ash.
19 games between the clubs when it's all said and done. Dallas Keuchel runs out there 5-7 on the year. Dallas has been doing a little starting, a little relieving of late. And in that starting role against Toronto, his last start, a 7-inning shutout effort, allowing just 4 hits. He was very good working both sides of the plate. He's got some issues on first pitches this year. He's allowing a batting average against at .433, and with runners in scoring position, that number is .344. But Dallas Keuchel has been, in my estimation, a bit better than the numbers might indicate, especially while starting.
He worked with Cody Clark, and he'll be working with Cody Clark again tonight. They'll be trying to figure out a way to deal with Dustin Ackley, who had 4 hits and 4 runs batted in last night.
House of fire. He had no hits in game 1 of the series, but over his last 4 games now, with last night's 4 hits, a career high, 9 hits in that 4-game span. He is swinging a very hot bat. 17 for 40 against Houston on the year. That's a .425 mark. Oh, and a little defense to go with it. A great play in center field last night. Dustin Ackley might be the guy that Dallas Keuchel has to most focus on here this evening.
The Mariners have come alive with wins in the first 2 games of this series. Brandon Barnes hit for the cycle against them earlier this season. Julia Morales has more with Brandon in just a moment.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Astros and Mariners facing off for Game 3 of the 4-game series here. And with left-handed pitcher Joe Saunders going on the mound for the Seattle Mariners, Bo Porter is putting out a lineup with lots of righties, including Brandon Barnes, who's been very good against lefties, including Joe Saunders, where he's 4 for 6 career. And if this matchup sounds familiar, it should, because Brandon Barnes hit for the cycle the last time he faced Saunders. He hit a single, triple, and home run off the Seattle starter. Here's Barnes on that special night.
Everything fell into place, and then, some hard work and some luck fell into place at the same time.
Well, facing a guy like him, I know you've been really good against lefties, but why were you able to have such success off of Saunders?
I think it was like the third or fourth time I faced him, so I kind of knew what he had been doing to me before, and just kind of stuck to my plan of using the other field and the ball to travel and get deep.
Usually pitchers remember things like that, so are you ready to make some adjustments in case he comes at you a little differently today? Definitely.
I'm going to stick with my approach and go pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat, and if he starts pitching me different, I'll have to make the adjustment. Now, against lefties, Barnes' average is up much higher. It's 70 points higher than that against righties. And if you think back earlier this season, he wasn't the everyday center fielder. He would actually come in just to face lefties. Things have changed for him now, but he is much more comfortable facing left-handed pitchers. Coming up, it's going to be a lefty for the Houston Astros tonight. Dallas Keuchel on the mound. Stay tuned. We'll have lineups and first pitch after the break.
Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Downtown Houston, Texas, it's a 7-game homestand for the Astros. This is game number 3. Tomorrow, the concluding game of this 4-game set with the Mariners. Then the Minnesota Twins are in for day games Monday and Wednesday and a night game Tuesday. Astros and Mariners playing for the 15th time this season. Brad Miller is the shortstop. Franklin Gutierrez in right field. Kyle Seager at third base. Kendrys Morales at first. Raul Ibanez the DH. Nick Franklin at second base. Dustin Ackley in center field. Abraham Almonte in left. Alberto Quintero the catcher.
Left-hander Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Astros tonight. Keuchel on the season 5-7 with a 4.82 ERA. He's worked as a starter and a reliever. That opponent's batting average at .293 and 18 dingers allowed in those 125 innings.
Brad Miller's in the box, and he swings at it for strike one. Miller has 3 hits in the first 2 games of this series. Starting the night at .267. That includes 5 homers. He's driven in 26. He probably sneaked a peek at the Clemson Tigers today, or they might be playing tonight, in fact. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's where Miller went to college. 2nd round pick in 2011. Chases that breaking pitch. And Keuchel gets a good result that takes him to 1-2.
You would think a pitch like that for Dallas Keuchel would set him up to pitch successfully against left-hand hitters, and yet the lefties have hit over .290 against him on the year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, this Mariner team came in not having hit well at all during a 6-game losing streak. Won the opener of this series 3-2 Thursday night, and then tacked on a 7-1 win last night. Now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes to Miller. Miller's walked 19 times, has a .324 on base average. That fly ball over shortstop, heads for left center field and dunks in right over the head of Marwin Gonzalez for a pop fly single for Miller.
When you're playing a team that's hot, and the Mariners didn't come in hot by any stretch of the imagination, but they've gotten hot here in the series, you see a lot of these little soft base hits, and Seattle's stinging the ball and getting these on top of it.
Franklin Gutierrez is the batter. Gutierrez, the 30-year-old outfielder with a .274 average, has 7 homers, 14 runs batted in. He has been an injury-riddled player the last few years. Gutierrez takes a look at it, and it's a ball to Franklin. In the lineup Thursday night, he went 3 for 4, hit a homer and drove in 2. Gutierrez has been an outstanding center fielder in the past. He's playing right again tonight with Ackley in center field. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Franklin Gutierrez from Caracas, Venezuela. Won a Gold Glove in 2010 with the Mariners after in 2009 hitting 18 homers and driving in 70 runs. Last year, injuries limited him to 150 at bats. Out to center field, backing up Barnes. That's 1 out for Dallas Keuchel.
Defensively for Houston tonight, behind the plate, it's Cody Clark, who did such a nice job his last time out with Keuchel. Around the infield, Chris Carter, Jake Elmore, Marwin Gonzalez, and Matt Dominguez. And in the outfield, you saw him, Brandon Barnes in center, flanked by AT HOU in right and Robbie Grossman in left.
Here at Minute Maid Park, the Astros have a home record of 21-46. Seattle is 6-2 in this ballpark. Kyle Seager, .275, 21 homers, 62 runs batted in, has a .346 on base average. 1 hit in this series for Seager. The Astros have done a pretty good number on him, limiting him to a .157 average against them this season. In the first inning, Dallas Keuchel's ERA is 1.06. Bouncer headed for right field, off the glove of Elmore, and it trickles on behind him, picked up by Hose. Throw goes into Gonzalez, and it's 1st and 3rd, 1 out on the Seager single. Kind of seeing eye hit for Kyle Seager.
And right in that category that I was talking about, Seattle picking up hits in all fashions right now, but when you get a bunch of these softies and the seeing eye hits, as you call it, it's just a setup for some nice innings.
Miller waited for the ball to pass in front of him, and then he still got to third base as it was slowed down off the glove of Elmore. Kendrys Morales has men at the corners now, and Morales, who's driven in 68 runs, checks in at .279. He has 17 homers with a .338 on base average. Elmore shades up the middle for Morales. There's strike 1 to Kendrys. This Mariners team is 12th in runs scored in the American League. Morales was in the starting lineup last night and DHing. He was 0 for 3 with a pair of walks. It's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Dallas Keuchel shooting for win number 6 of the season. And that last start was a dandy, but he got a no decision against Toronto despite 7 innings of shutout baseball. The Astros lost that one in the 9th, 2-1. Gonzalez whirls, gets it by Elmore, and the run scores. And it's backed up by Carter. Marwin Gonzalez with a good pickup, then whirled, and his throw was offline to Elmore. 1-0 Seattle.
Very unfortunate for Dallas Keuchel. Some soft hits in the inning, and this ground ball with Morales going up the line. If this is accurately tossed into Elmore at second base, likely a double play to end the inning. And just nothing going Keuchel's way.
Morales gets a hit and an RBI. 69th run batted in for the big first sacker. Seager goes to second, and Raul Ibanez comes up. Ibanez the DH with a 4-game hitting streak. And there's strike one to him. He's unloaded 25 homers. He's driven in 60 runs. And his batting average is .251. He looks at a strike, and it's 0-2. Bruce Dreckman is the home plate umpire tonight. Ibanez, 41 years old, born in Manhattan, New York. Went to college at Miami-Dade Community College South. Just missing, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count to him. Keuchel with a 17-pitch first inning so far. Ibanez played for the Yankees last year, hitting 19 homers. In the dirt, Clark blocks it out in front, and it's 2-2. Ibanez had the distinct thrill of going back to Yankee Stadium and hitting a grand slam against the Pinstripers in May of this year. He homered off Keuchel in Seattle June 10th. Raul has hit 3 long balls against the Astros. Is that a swing? They appeal. Oh, check swing call.
Wow. This is one to see from the side. And I agree with that smile of disbelief from Dallas Keuchel. Talk about an inning where nothing has gone Keuchel's way. Clearly that bat goes through the plate. Wow.
Full count with 1 out. We'll see what the runners are doing. Seager at second, Morales at first. They're not going, and it's ball 4 to load the sack. So Keuchel now faces Franklin. The base is loaded, 1 out, 1 run in, and he's visited by his battery mate Clark. Keuchel lost a 3-2 game in Seattle June 10th. Pitching very well, giving up 1 earned run in 6 innings. And looking for his first career win against this Seattle club. He's 0-1 with a 1.13 ERA in 2 career appearances. Now the Astros try to figure out how to get Franklin. Franklin, 12 homers, 40 runs batted in, is the key man now. Well, if they could get a double play ball here, trailing only 1-0, that's a big turnaround with Dreckman, Welke, Everett, and Bellino on the crew. Franklin's 22 years old. He had a home run in the opener of this series. That's his only hit, 1 for 9. Chops and foul. There's strike 1. Franklin's been leading American League rookies in homers and runs batted in, but lately he has not been finding a whole lot of success. He snapped an 0 for 16 when he hit that first inning homer Thursday night. Takes there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count with Ackley on deck. Mariners are 61-73. They're 17 games behind the Texas Rangers in 4th place. Off the plate, and that makes it 2-1. Mariners have a winning record in the AL West by 1 game, 33-32. Pops out of the mid of Clark, and it's ball 3. 3 balls and a strike.
Even the really close pitches for Dallas Keuchel here in the inning have not brought any strike calls. Just one of those innings you dread going out there and having as a pitcher.
Franklin was a first-round pick in 09. And that's ball 4, forcing in run number 2. Bases loaded walk gives Franklin his 41st run batted in. The crowd is getting restless, and it's 2-0 Seattle.
Not sure what you say in this scenario. You've given up a couple of soft base hits. You've given up a ground ball to the infield that took a nice play, granted at shortstop, but could otherwise have been a double play. It was awarded a base hit. And then you get a check swing with a couple of strikes, and you don't get the call with Ibanez at the plate. It's just been a rough one.
Batting average against Keuchel with runners in scoring position this year is .344. Dustin Ackley, .261, 3 homers, has 26 runs batted in. Ackley had the big night last night, 4 hits, 4 runs batted in. That's strike 1 to him. So Ackley's delivering what the Mariners had hoped when they made him the 2nd overall pick in the 09 draft. Even though he's changed positions from second base to outfield. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Ackley from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and quite a player for the University of North Carolina. Last year he hit .538 with the bases loaded. Swings at that one, and it's 1-2 to Ackley.
Good slider, and he's thrown a couple of these in the inning against the left-hand hitters.
Ackley's hit .411 in August, 30 for 73. In the dirt, and it's 2-2.
Next pitch will be number 30 on the first inning.
The last 18 games, Ackley's been a .435 hitter, highest in the majors since that date. Taps it foul. And that date was August 10th. So he's had a really nice last 3 weeks. Almonte's on deck. The Blue Jays beat the Royals today 4-2 on a bases loaded walk as a part of a 3-run 8th inning. R.A. Dickey won his 11th. Little dribbler up the first base line. Carter steps on the bag. Another run scores to make it 3-0. Ball too slowly hit to do anything other than take the out at first. So Ackley with a little dribbler gets his 27th run batted in. Morales scoring. Ibanez to third. Franklin to second.
What an inning. When you do get the ground ball, it's too slowly hit to get a double play, and just been adding up terribly for Keuchel.
Abraham Almonte made his major league debut last night. Switch hitter. He takes strike 1. He got his first major league hit and drove in 2 runs. He has Ibanez at third and Franklin at second base after the 1-for-5 debut. It's 0-2 to Almonte, who combined to hit .300 in his time with AA Jackson and AAA Tacoma in 123 games. He was acquired from the Yankees in a trade in February for right-handed pitcher Sean Kelly. Almonte reaches for it and strikes out. And the Mariners parade 8 to the plate in the first inning. 3 of them score on 3 hits with 2 men stranded. They lead 3-0. Up with this starting lineup for Bo Porter. Robbie Grossman left field, LJ Hou's right field, Jose Altuve DH, Matt Dominguez third base, Chris Carter first, Brandon Barnes center field, Jake Elmore second base, Marwin Gonzalez shortstop, Cody Clark catcher.
On the mound, left-hander, 32 years of age. That's Joe Saunders, 10-13 on his year with a 5.09 ERA. Beat the Astros last time he faced them, 19th of July, 5 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs in that win. The opponents on the year hitting .307, including 22 home runs. So Saunders has not had things go his way. Defensively, Humberto Quintero behind the plate. Around the infield, Kendrys Morales, Nick Franklin, Brad Miller, and Kyle Seager. In the outfield, Dustin Ackley in center, flanked by Franklin Gutierrez and Abraham Almonte.
Inside Minute Maid Park, Saunders goes to work. He's had some rough times in this ballpark with a 9.58 career ERA and a 1-1 record at Minute Maid. Throwing ball 1 to Robbie Grossman. 268 for Robbie, 4 homers, 21 runs batted in for Grossman. 1 for 8 in this series. Saunders spots it over the outside edge. That evens the count at 1-1. Joe, 32 years old. First round pick of the Angels in 2002. He was the 12th player drafted. Went to Virginia Tech. Tapped to shortstop. Miller. 1 out. Grossman retired. Now it's LJ Hou's. LJ 3 for 8 in this series. Had a couple of hits last night in 4 at-bats. The Astros managed only 4 hits in the game, losing 7-1. They lost it 3-2 and got only 5 hits Thursday night. 283 for Hose, 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. That's a strike for Saunders, who in his major league career has won 88 and lost 78. Working quickly, bouncing that one for a 1-1 count. 5 days ago, when he lost to Texas, he gave up 7 earned runs in 7 innings, allowing 9 hits. Chop slowly, cutting across Seager. Seager with a quick toss. 2 outs.
Kyle Seager is just a very fine young player for Seattle. Defensively, making a nice play. That's when you've got to cut off with the shortstop. Almost no chance on the play.
With 2 outs, it's Jose Altuve, designated hitter tonight. 266 his average, 4 homers, 42 runs batted in, and a 303 on base average for Altuve, who is 1 for 8 in this series. After going 1 for 13 on the road trip, he bunts and it then turns foul. Strike 1 for Altuve.
They got some pretty good wood on this bunt. I have to say he hit that right on the sweet spot, but had he gotten it down fair with the third baseman playing back, automatic base hit.
Matt Dominguez is on deck. Saunders facing the Astros for the 4th time this year. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count. He pitched a beauty in his start at Seattle against Houston April 8th. That was the home opener for the Mariners. Shut out the Astros for 6 1/3 innings, won at 3-0. Down on a knee, Franklin makes it a 1-2-3 first and a 3-0 Seattle lead.
time for Geico quote of the game. Talking about Taijuan Walker last night. I'm glad the first one is out of the way. The first hitter, I was really nervous, but after that, I got more comfortable as the game went on. That was Walker talking about 5 innings that he pitched last night. 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and Seattle manager Eric Wedge really liked what he saw from his rookie. He said he just stayed in the moment, and he just wanted him to enjoy it, and he obviously did there. The club is also just trying to get the kinks out for Walker as they plan to use him as a big key in this starting rotation starting in April of next year. Not good news for the Astros, guys. We could be seeing this guy for a while.
You bet, and he did look good last night. Thank you, Julia. Humberto Quintero leading it off here in the second inning. Former longtime Astro catcher. Q takes it in. It's ball 1 after a 34-pitch first for Dallas Keuchel. 244, 4 homers, 13 runs batted in. Quintero 0 for 2 with a walk in the opener of the series. Henry Blanco did the catching last night. It's 2 balls, no strikes for Quintero, native of Maracaibo, Venezuela. Began his career in the White Sox organization, then the Padres traded for him. Little chop. Keuchel has time and gets it. Let's look at the breakdown on Dallas Keuchel's season with the Astros so far and see pitch by pitch the batting average against each one. The slider has produced the lowest batting average. Cutter, the curveball, a 412 batting average. But he only throws that 6% of the time, Ash.
Yeah, what's often intriguing to me is that fastballs will be the pitch that will yield the highest batting average or among the highest batting averages, and yet fastball is what is preached over and over. If you got to throw more fastballs, and I think you have to go case by case with any given pitcher and what is most effective for him.
Brad Miller has a 2-0 pitch coming next. That's fastball on a given night might be a lot more effective. So that's up to the catcher to put down that suggestion as to where they go on each pitch.
Yeah, that's where, as a catcher, you really have to be attuned to what's going on a given night. This guy's attuned, and he's solid defensively.
Making his 3rd start with the Astros. In for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Then you have those innings like the first for Keuchel where nothing seemed to go right, and behind the dish you're trying to come up with anything to help the guy, and it just doesn't appear to be available.
Now 3-2. Astros are 7-10 and Keuchel's 17 starts. That's strike 3 call. Second strikeout for him.
Yeah, find that inside edge. Something goes right, and maybe that's the first step toward getting things turned around here this evening.
2 outs, and it's Gutierrez coming up. Miller retired. Gutierrez hit a fly ball to center earlier. Breaking pitch stays up, and there's ball 1. In the air, and this one is back in the seats for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Dallas Keuchel, born in Tulsa, went to the University of Arkansas. Homegrown by the Astros. They drafted him in 2009 in the 7th round. Fly ball out to left center field. Robbie Grossman cuts over. Makes it a 1-2-3 second, and it's 3-0 Seattle.
September 13th is the next big and bright Friday night. The Astros take on the LA Angels of Anaheim at 7:10. Don't forget to stick around after the game for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. It's also featuring music from the hit TV show Glee. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets, guys.
Thanks, Julia. There's strike one to Matt Dominguez, who was DHing last night for the first time this year. 239 for Matt, 19 homers, 66 runs batted in. He rips this line drive into left field. Almonte over to pick it up. And that was well struck by Domingo, who said, well, he kept his batting gloves on all night when DHing last night. He didn't really leave the bench, but didn't know what to do.
It's a breaking ball here and just drills it to left field. His swings have gotten consistently stronger in my estimation here over maybe the last month or so.
He thumped that one. Chris Carter bats. 217 with 26 bombs. He's driven in 70. Ball one for Carter. Carter 0 for 3 in this series. Took a seat last night against Taijuan Walker after starting the opener of the series against Erasmo Ramirez. Brandon Barnes is on deck. Saunders missing there, falls behind now, 2-0. Joe last year pitched for Arizona, where he was 9-13. Seattle picked him up as a free agent in February of this year. Carter exercising judgment, lays off that one and takes the count to 3-0 for Chris. Chris is 3 for 12 with a long ball against Saunders. That home run off him was here April 24th. The Astros won that game 10-3. He draws a 4-pitch walk. Let's take you back to July 19th and Brandon Barnes against Joe Saunders. Hitting for the cycle, and 3 of those hits came off Saunders.
That's a night Brandon Barnes will remember as long as he can tell stories. And be among those who have picked up a cycle, very special. And Brandon had to really dig for that double, the final hit of the bunch.
That pumped him up. Now with 6 homers, 30 runs batted in. He has a .233 batting average. Taking strike one. He is 4 for 6 against Saunders. Elmore's on deck. Brendan is 0 for 6 in this series. Had some good games in Chicago. It's 1-1. Last 8 games he's hitting .286. He has Dominguez at second and Carter at first. Brendan currently 0 for his last 13, in fact. This would be a good time to break out of that. He looks at it and it's 2-1. Barnes has hit .345 with men in scoring position. 20 hits and 58 at bats, and against lefties .282. He fouls it back and it's 2 balls 2 strikes. Saunders has allowed the most hits, 195 coming into this game, and the most extra base hits, 79 in the majors this year.
Now, if you don't throw hard and you don't have any exceptional breaking ball to go with it, you're just asking to get pummeled on the big league level.
But he has 21 double play ground balls. That's one off the American League lead, set by his teammate Felix Hernandez. Changeup has not been good. .345 batting average. Slider much better at .259, and fastball has produced a .301 average. He throws that 56% of the time.
Similar numbers between the two left-handers here this evening. In each case, fastballs allowing over a 300 mark, curveballs that are getting beat around, and sliders that have been effective.
That's fouled away. And Saunders has induced 227 ground outs, second most in the American League to Justin Masterson of Cleveland. That's what he'd love to have right here. Something on the ground right at somebody.
Justin Masterson is just foul with his sinker.
The Astros may be facing him again this year. They have another series coming up in Cleveland. Indians leading right now at Detroit 1-0. They're in the bottom of the second inning, and Scott Kazmir of Houston is on the mound. Barnes takes a look at it. It's ball 3, and now it's a full count. Anibal Sanchez is pitching for Detroit tonight. And guess who is not in the starting lineup? Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, Miggy starting to miss a little bit of time. And likely you would figure it's going to cost him that Triple Crown chance.
Barnes hits a ground ball third. Seager to second. And then Franklin with the turn. 5-4-3 double play. Dominguez to third base.
Brandon Barnes has just hit a rough patch here of late. Hitless in his last 4 starts after having a 4-game span in which he had 8 hits. But this is about as routine as it comes.
Saunders, now with a runner at third, faces Jake Elmore. Elmore takes it. There's strike 1 to Jake. 243 is his average. He has 2 home runs. He's driven in 6. Elmore getting his first playing time in this series. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Cubs beat the Phillies in Chicago 4-3. Carlos being away for the winner. Kevin Gregg got save number 28. Starlin Castro his 8th homer. Kevin Franson number 5 for the Phils. 2-1. Mets have the lead in the third at Washington 3-0. They're facing Dan Herron of the Nationals. Big trade today. Justin Morneau going from Minnesota to Pittsburgh.
Morneau hasn't had a great year, but he's had a very good month of August, and that could lead into a solid September and help the Pirates.
Well, first base was kind of a weak spot for the Pirates, right?
A lot of struggles. Jones, I think in the last couple of months, has had his issues with the bat.
That's a walk to Elmore. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. 2 walks in the inning for Saunders. Marwin Gonzalez try to get things stirred up here for Bo Porter's club. At 222, Marwin has 4 homers, 14 runs batted in. And the right side of the plate has been the better side. 258 his average as a right-handed batter. Bo Porter will announce some September call-ups after the game tonight. There won't be many in this first round of September call-ups because of all the playoff teams. Fouled on a bunt try. No balls and a strike. Marwin was recalled from Oklahoma City August 14th. But now with that club headed for the playoffs, it wouldn't appear that there would be that many players added after tonight. And then there will be another round later after the playoffs, of course. Astros currently have 5 teams that have clinched playoff berths, and they could wind up with 6. It's 1-1. Runners at first and third, and 2 outs in the Houston second. The Tri-City team is the team that could make it number 6 with a half-game lead having lost 4 games of its lead in the last 4 days. Playing the second place club. Runner going from first. Here's the throw coming in, and the tag not in time. There's a 2-out stolen base by Jake Elmore, his first, beating the throw from Quintero, which was a little high to Franklin.
Jake Elmore just showing another facet of his game that makes him a pretty valuable utility player, and this was close. Could have gone either way.
That was close, but now 2 men are in scoring position, and it's a 2-1 count. And that one dips low and outside. 3 balls, 1 strike to Marwin Gonzalez. Could be a 1-run ball game if he can come through with a well-placed single. He takes a walk to load the bases, and it'll be Clark batting. So 3 walks in the inning, as well as a single, and pitching coach Carl Willis is on his way to the hill. Both these left-handers in early inning problems in this game. First stolen base for Elmore of his major league career for Jake.
Which is the better conversation, the one on the hill or the one at second base? Who's learning more?
Yeah. Well, Cody Clark would love to have a conversation with somebody about his first major league hit. He comes up with the bases loaded, 2 outs. He is 0 for 7 as a major leaguer after being recalled from AA Corpus Christi, making his 3rd major league start tonight. He has caught well and thrown well, and he's lined out once to shortstop on a very well hit ball. Jose Reyes of Toronto taking ball 1 there.
Yeah, it's hard as a position player to feel like you're having a positive impact if you're not getting any hits. But Cody Clark has been impactful on the positive side as a catcher.
Pulls it back, and it's a 1 ball 1 strike count. And then that final out in that Toronto game, when he hit the ball off the pitcher's glove, it went out and was fielded by the second baseman, who threw him out for the final out in a 2-1 Houston loss.
Casey Jansen, the pitcher, did a nice job getting up and getting a little leather on it. That would have been intriguing to see had that ball gone by Jansen, if it would have found center.
Miller in front of it. Little glitch there, but he got it out of the glove and on to Franklin for the force play on Gonzalez. No runs a hit, 3 men stranded, 3-0 Mariners. Fred Arnold of Minute Maid, and we see Fred a lot out here at the ballpark in a lot of different scenarios. We talk baseball. We could talk cooking with Fred, because he's been known to put on the chef's role down in the clubhouse. Good to see you again, Fred.
Well, thank you, Brownie. It's good to be up here. I did cook for 5 seasons.
5 seasons?
5 seasons down there, yes.
Well, you had a well-fed group. What's your specialty for breakfast?
Bacon. It was about 10 pounds of bacon that we cooked.
You can't go wrong with bacon. Come on.
Come on. Bacon and orange juice.
Did you see there's an automobile now with bacon painted on the outside of it? I forgot which
I think
brand it was.
I think I'm going to get that one.
Kyle Seeger is leading it off here. It's 3-0 Mariners, and Fred's going to be talking with us about an upcoming event. Dancing with the Stros. Meg Valancourt is here with you tonight, and she's been working hard on this charitable fundraiser, and it's going to benefit free year-round programs for at-risk youth offered by the Astros Urban Youth Academy in Houston. You've been vitally involved in that Urban Youth Academy down through the years. This is going to be a different type event, though, Fred.
This is a different type of event, and we're looking forward to sponsoring it, because we're not looking at it as we're sponsoring Dancing with the Stros. We're looking at it as we are just reinvesting in the Astros Foundation, in the Urban Youth Academy, in the community, the youth, in baseball in general.
All right, so we've got the names of the players. And now, how did you get these guys? Were you cooking for them so they would agree to be dancers?
No, I said I wouldn't cook if they agreed to be dancers.
It could work either way.
So, and I had to promise them orange juice for life.
So Dancing with the Stros, is there going to be dancing involved? Because if there is, I'm out.
The broadcast team has been extended a special invitation. That's why I'm here. Yes, and they're going to be dancing with professional dancers. And Altuve, like you said, Cozart, Keuchel, Elmore, and Lucas Harrell. And judged by their peers, by their baseball teammates.
They hold back for the catch for out number 1. Well, this event is Sunday, September 15th at the House of Blues, 1204 Caroline Street, downtown. Tickets must be purchased in advance. Main stage doors open at 6 o'clock for ticketed patrons only. Show begins shortly after 7, and there's a game earlier that day, but the players have to rehearse their dance routines.
And I understand they've been rehearsing, before batting practice. They're down there doing their routines, and of course they're not using professional dancers. They're using the bat boys as dance partners, but we won't get into that.
When it comes to ball players dancing, I can't imagine more fair judges than their teammates.
Well, you don't think there will be any heckling going on?
No, not a bit. Yeah, I'm sure the guys will be completely encouraging.
I'm sure they will be. And we are very, very happy, like I said, to present, be the presenting sponsor. And we've been working on expanding our community outreach program with the Astros. We've had a 11-year history, and we've been working with Meg and Jamie Hildreth to expand our community outreach, and we will be making several announcements that night, apart from just the dancing.
Okay.
It's very, very important mission that goes on, even though we're going to have a good time.
Now, if you can get Jamie Hildreth to dance, I think it will be compelling.
I was on the radio side, and they asked me if I was going to dance, and Jamie, I would say the same to you as about him. There's not enough whiskey at Specs.
No, I think there may be, actually.
Well, we saw the names there. You mentioned who they were. Jose Altuve, Jared Cozart, Dallas Keuchel, Jake Elmore, Lucas Harrell. So without having seen any of them, would you pick a winner, Fred?
No. Although I'm
what a chicken.
Okay, all right. I like Lucas Harrell.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
he's a dark horse.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Although Altuve's pretty, he's got fancy footwork. I think Lucas Harrell has
what?
some ballroom dancing in his background.
I see Jared Cozart as a sleeper in this. Do we know what different types of dances they're going to be asked to do?
I'm not a ballroom dancing aficionado. I think when I danced back in the day, the twist was in fashion.
That's right. Chubby checkers.
That kind of works for me too.
Fred, thanks so much. We look
Thank
forward
you.
to on Sunday, September 15th at the House of Blues, dancing with the Stros. 3-0 Seattle.
From the Astros Double-A team, the Corpus Christi Hooks racked up quite a few postseason awards this year. Looking good with all those awards on the field there. It's a nice picture. And we take a look at who some of these guys are that received some awards. There's a few of them. George Springer with the Texas League Player of the Year and Texas League Pitcher of the Year. David Martinez. Gary Ruby, the pitching coach for the Hooks, received Mike Coolball Coach of the Year. And Springer also made the All-Star team along with Martinez, Fulton Nevich, Jonathan Meyer, Max Stassi. 7 games left in the regular season for these Hooks guys. They're facing San Antonio right now. I think they're playing for home field advantage. I think they'll play San Antonio in the first round. So, yes, this is for home field advantage. Good luck to the Hooks.
Thanks, Julia. Robbie Grossman takes. Ball 1-2, Robbie leading off the home third inning. After a 1-2-3 top of the inning by Dallas Keuchel. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Yeah, it's a best-of-5 series coming up in the first round there, the Texas League playoffs. So that will determine the home field advantage, which would be who is home for Game 5, whether it's Corpus Christi or San Antonio. Foul back, and that'll be determined this weekend, 1-2. So the playoffs are just about upon us. In fact, they begin tonight in Greenville. Greenville's playing the Kingsport Mets. In Game 1, that's a best-of-3 series. Chris Lee getting the start. He was a 4th-round pick in 2011. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tri-City has 5 games remaining. Lost last night, has a half-game lead over Lowell. And they're going head-to-head right now. Picked up by the first baseman, Morales. That's 1 out. Lancaster has 3 games remaining. First playoff game will be Saturday, September 7th in Lancaster. Round 2 is a best-of-5 series. Lancaster got a bye in the first round. We don't know who the Lancaster opponent will be. Corpus will open Wednesday at home, September 4th in Corpus Christi. Round 1 best-of-5 against San Antonio. AT HOU with the strike, grounded out first time man. Oklahoma City now has 3 games left. First playoff game is Wednesday, September 4th in Oklahoma City. Best-of-5 series. Opponent to be determined. And Oklahoma City is playing Omaha, I believe, this weekend, and Omaha is tied for the lead in the other division. So Omaha could be the opponent, could be staying right there in Oklahoma City to open the playoffs. 2 balls and a strike. So with all this playoff activity coming up, the Astros simply will not be able to call up many players after the game tonight in their first round of call-ups for September. They need those players to win those playoff series. 3 balls and a strike. Pleasant problem to have. Up the middle and into center field. AT HOU is aboard. Hit number 2 for the Astros.
That's a bat the club could certainly stand to get hot again.
He was hot for a while, wasn't he?
In an uncanny fashion toward right field, occasionally toward center.
Well, before last night, he had 16 hits to the opposite field in August. That was #1 in Major League Baseball. And this one goes to the right of second base. He's aboard for Altuve. Altuve grounded out in the first inning. This one will be foul and out of play. Strike one to Altuve. Jose has hit 148 in the last 13 games. There's a smile that won't come off that kid's face for a while. And the throw goes over. There have been 11 steals in 15 attempts with Saunders on the mound prior to tonight, and Elmore got one back in the second inning to make it 12 of 16 against Saunders. Hose is 7 for 8 in base stealing. It's a 1-1 count. A big weekend for ball games involving contenders. Tigers 4, Indians 1. They're in the top of the third in Detroit. Pirates 2, Cardinals 1, top of the third in Pittsburgh. A.J. Burnett on the mound. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Pirates have been active, haven't they, the last few days in acquiring players who can really help to put them over the top in that tightly contested NL Central division. Currently, they're tied for the lead with the Cardinals. They picked up Marlon Byrd. And now they got Justin Morneau.
Sending a positive message to their fans and their players.
Got John Buck. Saunders takes the out at first on Altuve. Out number 2 with Hose advancing. The batter will be Matt Dominguez. Dominguez singled to left field to open the second inning. He advanced as far as third, but the double play ball, Barnes grounding into that double play, was awfully big for Saunders in that inning. He gave up a single and 3 walks, yet did not allow a run. Not too many times in a major league game a guy will give up 3 walks and a hit and pitch a scoreless inning. White Sox 1, Red Sox 1. They're in the top of the third. Jake Peavy on the mound for Boston. Strike to Dominguez. Yankees beat the Orioles today 2-0. Don Nova with his first career shutout. Miller to his left. Unloads for out number 3. No runs, a hit, and the man stranded. After 3, it's 3-0 Seattle.
Sunday, September 15th, is Dog Day at Minute Maid Park, brought to you by Purina. Bring your canine companion along to watch the Astros take on the Angels and enjoy dog-friendly activities such as the Pet Talk Costume Contest, pregame Pooch Parade, and Vendor Expo. Get your and your dog's ticket by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Okay.
Thanks, Julia. Dick Franklin looks at ball one, leading off the fourth inning. He drew a bases loaded walk in the first when the Mariners got 3. And they didn't hit balls hard, generally speaking. 1 ball and 1 strike. Keuchel has bounced back. And he's retired 7 in a row. Well, 8 in a row now. Ackley's ground out, producing their 3rd run. It's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Struck him out. That's number 5.
Got the full assortment here, and the slider does the job to finish it off. That back foot slider can be so tough.
Dustin Ackley grounded out to first. Got an RBI on that. There's ball 1. Julia's tweeting about it's strange for her not to be there for the Royal Memorial Stadium kickoff. Big college football weekend. You kind of wistful about it, Julia?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's very different. I kind of missed out on the high school football last night, too.
Well, you'll get a chance to be part of the high school football coverage, in fact, this year, right?
I will, later this fall.
Very good.
But it's a fun weekend. Everyone getting started.
Yeah, everybody's all pumped up. There's a broken bat grounder. Carter will take it to the bag for out number 2. Now, did you watch any football yourself this afternoon?
A little bit this afternoon. I had to check in on Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, to see what he was going to do that second half.
What did you think?
Well, you know, Johnny was Johnny right out of the gate, and I enjoyed that part of his game. It's all the other stuff that Johnny does, and you know.
Well, he brought it to life when he hit the field.
Yeah, and apparently he was penalized. Is that true?
He was. He was taunting players and making signs. I know he made a sign towards a Rice player that he was not going to sign an autograph for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Almonte, the batter, he struck out earlier. How do you think Johnny will do this year?
Johnny Manziel will probably be very good. I think that A&M has a really good shot. They just defensively, I don't know if you guys, did you guys not watch this game?
A little bit, but
I saw a bit as well.
Yeah.
They were missing some starters on defense. It was obvious there. Rice did a good job.
So these starters got suspended for 2 games, right?
I believe so.
And we don't know what the reason was.
No, Sumlin isn't sharing all kinds of information with us.
All right, but Johnny was suspended for 1/2.
Just 1/2.
Okay.
For having done nothing wrong, apparently.
Yeah.
Right.
We're perplexed here. No balls, 2 strikes.
I wish I had the answers for you.
All right. Nobody has any answers right now.
We have 0 evidence on you, so sit out the first half of game number 1.
Ash, we have 0 evidence on you doing anything, but
well, you got it right there.
But you don't get to
you
sit
got
out.
it covered, Brownie.
You do not get to sit out tomorrow's game. Struck him out. That's number 6. And Keuchel's got it going now. It's 3-0 Mariners. MD Anderson making cancer history. August 31st, 1990. Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey became the first father and son to play in the same Major League lineup. Both scored a run in the Mariners' 5-2 victory over the Royals at the Kingdome. We will now see the 500th career homer of Ken Griffey Jr. with Dad watching.
Come on, Dad, there's no crying in baseball. Yeah. Imagine that.
Special moment in history for a guy who had played a lot of games for the Mariners. Chris Carter takes strike one. Carter walked, and then, of course, Randy Johnson, another of the famous Mariners, traded to the Astros in '98. Boy, did he have a great 2 months.
So did the fans.
Yeah, they did. The city was really alive with baseball.
That was a very exciting time.
They had Edgar Martinez, the best DHs of all time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jay Buhner is a very good player. Chop. Seager comes in, and he gets Carter. 1 out.
Well, that 2001 team for Seattle won, what was it, 116 games?
Yep.
And then got beat by the Yankees in the first round of the postseason in 5 games.
That could have been the year.
Or in 1 over the minimum. Was that a best of 5 or a best of 7? I don't recall, but I think Seattle won 1 game in it.
Can't remember. All the outs have been on the ground for Saunders. Barnes fouls it back. 13 of them in the game, including that double play ball hit by Barnes in the 2nd inning. It's a shot by one of the infielders, Miller, into left center field. So an outfielder makes a play, and Barnes is aboard. Hit number 3 for the Astros.
Brandon Barnes needs to get that bat going now. It's been a tough little 4-game dry spell for Brandon.
Jake Elmore walked and stole a base in the 2nd inning. Line shot into right field for Elmore. Barnes will take a look and head for third. Here's Gutierrez with the throw, and it's cut off. And it's 1st and 3rd as Elmore sends Barnes around to the other corner in 1 out.
Jake Elmore's an intriguing player. And as a utility guy, and especially since learning that he can catch and do it well, he has become more and more intriguing. This ball awfully close to being caught.
Low bridge with that hot line drive, and then the first baseman Morales was trying to snag it as well.
Yeah, if that ball's caught, you got a double play, one of those really tough ones to take, but instead you got a rally going.
With Marwin Gonzalez batting, Marwin walked earlier. He looks at ball 1. One of the injured Houston firefighters from that terrible fire earlier this year, Tony Livesey, has now been released from the hospital. Bouncer first, and foul for Kendrys Morales. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Cody Clark on deck. The Clemson game is tonight. Clemson is playing at home against Georgia. So Brad Miller will hope to rush into that clubhouse after the game and see what his Tigers are doing. I wonder if Billy Spires is attending that game.
I know where my wager would go. I'd say absolutely. See, they had the rock messed with by somebody recently.
No.
Where they enter the stadium.
Yeah.
And they all have to touch the rock and kiss at it and everything. And apparently some vandalism took place.
It wasn't Jordan Lyles.
No, that wouldn't happen. Certainly wasn't Bill Spires.
Might have been Dustin Ackley.
I thought they had helicopters and guard dogs around that thing at all times.
1 and 2. Jordan said he lives right outside the stadium there in South Carolina.
It was Jordan.
Can't find it. Disappearing ball. Oops. There's the culprit. No, he got an earlier one. He got his. He's not moving for another one. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tomorrow's the finale of this series. It's a 1:10 start, and it's Brett Oberholzer and Hisashi Iwakuma. Tomorrow at 1:10. We have lefties dueling tonight. We get another lefty in Oberholzer against Iwakuma, who's really having a very good year. Iwakuma has a 3.03 ERA. He's 12 and 6. Runner going from first. Here's the throw from Quintero. He stops. Oh, the ball is dropped by Franklin, and the run scores. Elmore stopped. Franklin dropped the throw from Quintero, and Barnes scored. 3-1 game.
Perfect throw at that. I mean, not down around the bag where you have a tough time. This is up where the second baseman can handle it. And I don't know, he just takes his eyes off the baseball and flat drops it. So it takes a break, but the Astros get on the board and now have a chance to add to it.
Range play, an error on Franklin, his 9th. That allows Barnes to score and Elmore to get to second base. The 3-2 pitch is hit foul. That was a gift. Caught stealing and an error. 70th error of the year for the Mariners. Elmore stole a base earlier in the second inning. Advances, even though it's ruled a caught stealing here because Franklin didn't catch the throw. I think that throw hit him in the shoulder. Time had been called. Looked like he almost whiffed on it. As you mentioned, he was probably glancing up to see where Barnes was at third, Ash.
If that's the case, and the way Franklin's handling things, it's amazing. And I've seen it many times where a player can get just abused by the baseball. And when it's a mistake on their part, they'll show no sign of any pain. You just suck it up.
Gonzalez is down on strikes. 2 outs. Strikeout number 1 for Saunders.
There's that slider in the dirt.
Cody Clark bounced into forced play earlier. He's 0 for 8 to start his major league career. Cody turns 32 in mid-September. He takes strike 1. He's from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Went to the University of Arkansas and also Wichita State. And his wife Jordan came down for his debut. His parents Doug and Carol were here. They live in Conway, Arkansas. Cody and his wife now. Great story after 11 minor league seasons. Finally advancing to Major League Baseball. His father Doug was an outfielder first baseman for 5 years in the minors in the Kansas City and St. Louis farm systems. Cody played at AAA Omaha last year. Ground ball, and Miller lays He's out for it, gets up, throws first, and in time, he gets him. Well, once again, Cody Clark gets robbed. Well, that looked like his first major league hit, but instead it's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left for the Astros, 3-1. While we step away for trivia time, tonight's trivia is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Who is the youngest player ever for the Seattle Mariners? Taijuan Walker made his major league debut last night at age 21. So the youngest player ever for the Seattle Mariners. How old was Ken Griffey Jr.? Do you know?
What?
Was he 20?
I think he was a teenager. Okay. I was thinking about Alex Rodriguez. He may have been a teenager when he arrived.
There you go. Yeah. Can't think of anybody any younger than those two guys. So we'll say it was age 19.
They go back to 1977.
Yeah, they do. And prior to that, the Seattle Pilots were there, but they moved to Milwaukee and became the Brewers. Humberto Quintero takes a strike. Dallas Keuchel, after giving up 3 in the first inning, but there were some balls not hit well at all in that first. Now he's retired 11 in a row. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it could be said he's not pitching a shade different.
True. It's bad luck, wasn't it?
Walked a couple in that first inning. 1 on a check swing on what would have been strike 3. If you want to call it a check swing. Raul Ibanez got away with a swing that appeared to go through, and just one of those innings where nothing went right.
Ground ball goes foul, wide of third. It's still 1-2. Nothing's going right for the Nationals. They're getting drubbed by the Mets 8-0 in the 4th inning. And Zach Wheeler is on the mound for New York. And Herron really got torched for Washington. Foul ball.
Club with the most disappointing season this year. Washington Nationals?
Probably. Yeah, there were high expectations, probably between Washington and Toronto.
Yeah, a lot of people thought the Blue Jays were going to find their way to the World Series, but I think more people thought Washington was the club of destiny from the National League.
Cincinnati is mildly disappointing this year.
Still, let's see, how's their chance look at this point?
Chance looks good, but for a 1-game wild card playoff, they're 3.5 behind both Pittsburgh and St. Louis.
San Francisco Giants would have to be on that.
Oh, yeah.
That list of disappointment.
Oh, definitely. Very high, in fact. Forgot about them.
2 of the last 3 years, Bruce Bochy has had that club win it all.
And you've got the Angels.
Yeah, that's huge. That roster and the salary being paid out and what is to come might make them hugely discussed in that regard.
Pittsburgh is belting St. Louis 7-1 at the end of 3 in Pittsburgh, where the place has to be rocking tonight. Dominguez. That's 12 in a row set down by Keuchel.
Do you see the story being floated that the Angels are now potentially changing their name back, or they're going to pursue changing the name back to something that's not Los Angeles?
Really?
Yeah, that's the Julia Morales sent me a tweet today about that.
Oh, I thought you said Julia made up the story.
Well, you know, she may have. I'm not sure if she's just jerking my chain a bit, but.
Ash, I was waiting for a reply.
Well, if I had known how, if I had had you around to tell me how to reply to you, you would have gotten a reply from me.
It's a progress. We'll get there.
All right. Brad Miller's hit by the pitch here. Got it right above the left knee as he squared around to bunt.
He didn't pull his knee back, did he?
No.
That's not the way to lay down a bunt.
Well, could they be the Orange County Angels?
I would be perfectly fine with that. I would assume folks out there would be better with that than the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Here's the crazy thing. They used to be the California Angels.
Loved it.
Franklin Gutierrez. They really can't establish an identity until they know who they are.
Yeah? So how are the Minnesota Twins doing these days? The Colorado Rockies.
Gutierrez.
Clubs that just get state funding.
Fly ball to right field. Runner tagging as Hose makes the catch, and Miller will draw the throw and then go back. But we digress. We have trivia to answer.
I'm going A-Rod.
Youngest player ever for Seattle is Edwin Nunez. 18 years, 10 months, 11 days, 1982.
And I say, what?
We've been booged again.
I have no chance against questions like that.
No. That's just highly unfair. Kyle Seager's the batter. He is 1 for 2.
I guess he got called up too early and it ruined his career.
Edwin Nunez. Well, this is quite a shift now. Gonzalez and Elmore both on the outfield grass. Domingo way over toward shortstop for Seager. They haven't been playing Seager like this in the first 2 games of the series, have they?
Not that I had noticed. And here you've got a man on base on top of that.
Oh, it must be a matchup thing.
That only takes place at the 5th inning stage of the ballgame?
Yep. That's right. Foul away, and it's 0-2.
I'll tell you what, these stats are very in-depth these days.
Lance Lynn is the Cardinal pitcher who got lit up tonight. 3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs.
That young lady must have made a heck of a catch on that ball.
She must have. Do they sign them up to contracts anymore when they catch foul balls?
You don't hear about that anymore.
No.
But at that age, might be illegal.
1-2. If you were to sign somebody at age 5 and then draft that person later on, would they still be under contract?
What is that called? Draft and
follow?
Follow, yeah. Well, she could be a draft and follow.
Or she could be a follow and draft.
She might be going out right now to sign the deal.
Runner going. Here's the throw, and it's right on the money, and they get him. Oh, Miller's thrown out. And what a great throw by Clark. He's gone down 4 of 5 as an Astros catcher. 3-1 Seattle.
Faith and Family Night is back Saturday, September 14th. The Astros take on Josh Hamilton and the LA Angels of Anaheim, followed by an inspiring post-game concert featuring David Crowder. Your game ticket's also your ticket to the concert. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets, guys.
Julia, we just read your tweet to Ash. Robbie Grossman, the batter. Robbie rolls one up the first base line and stays fair for Kendrys Morales.
You know what that just implied? That I was incapable of reading the tweet Julia sent me. Julia, that's not the case.
Okay, which tweet were we reading?
The one about the Angels.
Yeah, the Angels.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Angels are in negotiations with the city of Anaheim to drop the Los Angeles from their title.
No more of Anaheim?
Sounds like no more Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. I see.
Are you going to inform us next that they're going to contact San Diego?
I'll tweet it to you if I hear it.
Thanks. I'll reply once you tell me how.
AT HOU's taking ball one. He's 1 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. You're confusing Ash with this tweeting thing.
It's difficult at first.
You're confusing the fans with this. We had to read it to Ash moment.
We know Ash can read. He just can't reply on Twitter.
Thanks, Julia.
Saunders goes to first for out number 2.
That's hashtag Ash can read.
Brownie, what's this word?
Designated hitter number 27, Jose Altuve.
We're working some things out up here, Julia. Jose Altuve has bounced out twice. Saunders falls down, gets up, throws out Altuve for a 1-2-3 fifth inning, and Seattle maintains its lead 3-1.
It's 3-1 Mariners. We go to the top of the 6th, and I am with a couple of Seattle fans because they're doing something really special. This is Griffin and Joe, and they're from Seattle, but they are hitting up 30 ballparks in 30 days, all by car. Am I right? I'm going to start with you. How has this been so far?
It's been amazing. Being able to tour the country. I mean, we're doing it all by car, too, so it kind of makes it kind of that added element of the road trip with it. But, I mean, we're just huge baseball fans, so getting a chance to see all these stadiums is just incredible.
I'll go over to you. How long did it come for you guys to come up with a plan? Because it's not easy to schedule trips around the country, right?
It took a lot of work, and it took us like almost 3 years to come up with the idea and everything and put together the rental cars and the schedule and make the dates work when all the teams are home at the right time. So it was a lot of work, yeah.
One thing I found interesting, you said this is the first time you've actually seen Seattle play on the road. You're Seattle fans. You saw them in Seattle, but now you're getting to watch them here. So what's it like to see your home team here in Houston?
It's kind of nice. It's always fun to kind of see the interaction with the fans when you're the visiting team. And still, I mean, you still got to wear your colors, got to support your team, but I mean, it's a lot of fun to kind of see them in a different atmosphere, too. You're so used to seeing them in Safeco Field with the fans going crazy every time they get a hit that it's kind of nice to kind of see it on the other side.
Very cool. All right, just hold up the sign just so the guys in the booth can see it. They're going to check off Astros. This is 21 out of 30. They'll do it after the 5th. That way it's a complete game there for you guys. What do you think?
That is a good-looking effort.
Now, do they watch the full ball game in each case?
Are you guys at the entire ball game, or do you jet out early?
Oh, yeah, we're at the entire ball game. We've seen extra innings twice, and luckily we got a walk-off homer in Tampa Bay, so we were able to get out of there pretty early.
That's pretty cool.
And they're going to get a come-from-behind win in late innings tonight, Julia. You guys are good fans, aren't they, to do all that?
I bet that is a challenge to find every ballpark in that 30-day span.
Could you ever see yourself organizing an effort like that?
At times over the course of the regular season, I feel like I've been involved in that. No, that was. How's that?
That's an honest answer.
That would be a challenge on the road, wouldn't it?
Work.
I hope there are showers involved.
Boy, it's a lot of work. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And especially difficult when going to places like Anaheim and trying to decide whether you're going to Los Angeles or Anaheim or Orange County or Hawaii or where you're going to see the Angels.
Be a good commercial for the car that was used.
You've got to get that car with bacon on it, Ash.
There you go. Right back to an earlier conversation.
Runner takes off. Here's the throw in the dirt. And whoa! What a play there by Elmore. Digging it out of the dirt to tag Seager on the throw by Clark.
How about Cody Clark? This was not his best throw, but boy, it's the first one that he's put down there that hasn't been exceptional. I mean, he is really good with that exchange glove to hand. Quick feet, puts good throws on the money. But now he gets help from Elmore on this bounce throw. Sometimes you need some help, and well done by Jake Elmore.
Foul back.
Thou shalt not pass.
Boy. He's gunned down 6 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That helps Keuchel erasing the base runner. This is the 3rd start for Clark. Morales works the count full.
That pitch was callable, certainly. When that hitter flinches like Morales did, sometimes umpires buy into that whole body movement.
Shift is on, and Elmore's right there. Perfectly. The second baseman on the shortstop side of the bag takes care of out number 2. So Elmore's right where the ball is in this inning.
Elmore trying to show that he can play shortstop. He takes his time, sets the feet, makes a good throw.
Now 2 outs, and Ibanez is the batter. Raul walked in the 1st and struck out looking in the 3rd. A strike to Ibanez.
Looked like Ibanez had home run number 26 in mind with that swing.
It's 1-1. These two teams will meet again in Seattle on the next road trip. It's 2-1. Astros and Mariners will play September 9th, 10th, and 11th in Seattle. Then come back after a night game, land about 6 in the morning, and have a day off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Struck him out, and it's 4 runs a hit and nobody left. Strikeout number 7 for Dallas Keuchel. He's got it going. 3-1 Mariners.
Demand Dollar Dog Night returns Friday, September 13th. Enjoy $1 hot dogs all game long. Presented by HEB. First pitch against the Angels is at 7:10. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for your ticket needs.
Check this out, Ash.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some commentary for me on this one.
Dancing with the Stros coming up September 15th.
That's your commentary.
Will they be doing that? Could you see Jose Altuve doing that dance? Matt Dominguez taking ball 1.
If paired up with Julian Morales, yes.
Line drive to left field, and Domingo is aboard. He's 2 for 3 in this game. He led off the 2nd inning with a single. They're leading off the 6th inning now. That gives the Astros, who are trailing by 2, promise of bigger things to come with Chris Carter to follow. Carter has walked and he's grounded out. That's 5 hits for the Astros. They've all been singles off Saunders, who's been a ground ball machine tonight. Strike. He had a 6-pitch 5th inning with 3 ground ball outs in that one. He took care of 2 assists himself. $14 ground ball outs for Saunders so far. Carter didn't get a full swing on that one. No balls, 2 strikes. Padres and Dodgers will play out west later. Andrew Kashner and Chris Capuano. Giants nothing, Diamondbacks nothing. Top of the 3rd in Arizona. Trevor Cahill's on the mound for the D-backs. Fouled off that netting in front of the Astros bench. Still 0-2. It was team photo day earlier. There's the team photo. Very smartly attired.
That is nice.
It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know how the photos 30, 40 years later tend to look, there's something that's funny about them. You say, oh, that's what they used to look like back then. What is it about that photo that's going to be funny in about 30, 40 years?
Well, we need to go back and find Jose Altuve in there.
You're going to pick on him?
There's a reason. It's a line shot foul. That's a screamer from Carter. Still a 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, the word was that someone stole his jersey. And check out Jose on the far left. See, they stole his jersey for the photo. So he came out, and he had not been able to find his jersey for the team photo. Carter Capps is warming up in the bullpen. Ah, there. They got it. But it doesn't have his name and uniform number on the back.
Yeah, so in the photo, he's not looking at the camera.
No. So there it is. Man off the street.
At least he wasn't wearing the bat boy uniform top.
It's good stuff. You know, they just can't do it straight, Ash. There's no way that those guys can come out here and line up for a team photo and do it without some hijinks, right?
Always something.
Yeah.
I know I was involved in one year.
What did you guys do?
I got a little playful with somebody's hairpiece, and it created a little bit of angst.
You mean Doc Ewell?
No, well, you don't have to go that far, do you?
Oh, okay. Struck him out. That's strikeout number 2.
Yes. Swinging over that pitch under the knees.
I didn't know you were the practical jokester type.
If you had a hairpiece, Brownie, you have no idea how much.
I do.
Your hair is just marvelous.
Brandon Barnes, the batter. He bounced into a double play and he struck out. Line shot to left field. Barnes is 2 for 3. Getting Dominguez to second, and the Astros starting to put some hits together now. They get 2 hits in the 4th, single hits in the 2nd and 3rd. They mixed in 3 walks in that 2nd inning, and now it's just a matter of trying to get a big hit. Elmore will be up next. He has a walk and a single.
Well, Brandon Barnes has had that ability against left-hand pitching this year and against the right-handers, who he actually had been swinging well against in that 4-game span I was mentioning earlier in the ballgame, where he had 8 hits, really swinging it well against right-hand pitching. But I think that's the one big question, is can he handle the right-handers? There is zero question about his defense in center field.
6 hits for the Astros, and that's going to be it for Saunders. Saunders, given the fact that he started the night with a 5.09 ERA, is having a tough year. The last 7 starts, he's gone 1-5 with a 7.71 ERA. That's all Eric Wedge is going to ask of Joe Saunders tonight. He could still be the winning pitcher, but the bullpen will decide it. Mariners 3, Astros 1, 2 men on, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Back right after this.
Remind you to tune into Chevy Hometown Kids. That's every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience.
She's getting ready for Dancing with the Stros, Sunday, September 15th.
And she's the future winner.
Joe Saunders went 5 1/3. He allowed 6 hits so far. He has allowed 1 run, no earned runs, and 2 runners left on base who could be charged to him. He's walked 3 and fanned 2. Saunders in line for win number 11, but having gone 5 1/3, he's going to wait for a while to see if that happens. Carter Capps with 2 wins, 3 losses, a 5.40 ERA, has given up 60 hits in 48 1/3 innings, including 10 long balls for Carter Capps, and he comes in to face Elmore.
Brownie, you playing the part of Tom Bergeron in that Dancing with the Stros?
Brooke Burke.
Brooke is going to be alarmed when she hears this.
Carter Capps, 23 years old, from Kinston, North Carolina, comes into work, and Elmore has walked and singled to right. Marlon Gonzalez on deck. Dominguez at second, Barnes at first, and the Astros ready to continue this rally. That's strike 1 for Carter Capps. Capps worked last night 2 innings, allowing 1 hit, no runs, with no walks and 1 strikeout for Carter. He's been to the mound 5 times against the Astros this season. He's given up 4 earned runs. He turns back towards second. The lefty Lucas Litke is warming up in the bullpen now. And the fact that Capps worked a couple of innings last night and threw 22 pitches would lead us to think that he won't be in very long. Eric Bedard is warming up for Houston. That's a ball, make it 1-1. Lucas Litke warming up. Mariners relievers at 113. They've lost 23 with a 4.40 ERA. Off the end of the bat, it's popped up. Quintero over. And that's out number 2. And we'll see if there's a change now with the switch hitting Gonzalez coming up next. They probably want him batting left-handed. He's a .215 hitter. And that would seem to be the plan. Gonzalez has walked and struck out. Cody Clark comes out to the on-deck circle.
Time for Marwin to find some of that early season pop that he displayed in Seattle.
He certainly did. He was ripping extra base hits in that series. Coming into this game, he was a .409 hitter against Seattle. 3 homers, 4 runs batted in this season. Strike 1. Marwin on that first road trip didn't play in the first game in Seattle. In game 2 he went 3 for 3 with a homer, 2 runs batted in, and then he went 2 for 3 with a homer and hit one off Capps. Delivers a ball, make it 1-1.
3 of his season home runs coming against Seattle. Good number to add to.
Strike, and it's 1-2. Angels 4, Brewers 3 at Milwaukee, bottom of the 6th. Ron Williams on the mound for the Angels. Chris Iannetta hit his 7th home run for the Halos. He started his swing, and on appeal he went for it and struck out. And he is tagged to end the 6th inning with no runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. Capps gets 2 important outs, 3-1 Mariners. inning, and they had some balls that were not hit very well. They had some walks, a couple of them along the way, but Dallas Keuchel has been very effective since then.
Really doing nothing different, just having things turn his direction, but throwing strikes. Slider impactful with the strikeout. Fastball that he finds the inside corner with, and again the slider. 7 strikeouts through 6 innings. A little more than Dallas is normally going to ring up.
He's keeping it within reach. 3-1, the Mariners lead it. Nick Franklin's the batter. Franklin has drawn one of those walks, a bases loaded affair, and then struck out. That's ball 1 to Franklin. The Astros 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position in this game. They are now 0 for their last 19 with men in scoring position. It's 1-1. It's line to left field. Grossman in. Grossman sliding, and he got his glove underneath the baseball for out number 1.
We've said it over and over. Robbie Grossman has done a great job defensively since being placed in left field, and he's a fixture there now and making all the plays. It's not easy, that line drive that comes right at you. Tough to tell if it's short of you, right at you, or over your head to begin with.
Dustin Ackley looks at strike 1. Ackley has grounded out twice. The first one produced a run. Curveball makes it 0-2 to Ackley. And the Yankee 2-0 shutout at Yankee Stadium over Baltimore today. Ivan Nova went to 8-4, beating Scott Feldman. He's 4-4. Now that puts Keuchel into the quality start realm with those numbers after giving up 3 in the first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 21,085 is the paid attendance tonight. That's a swing and a strikeout. That's number 8. Keuchel 1 away from his career high.
Again, he turns to that slider for the strikeout. Left-hand hitters should be in big trouble with this pitch.
Now Almonte steps up. Abraham 0 for 2 with 2 punch-outs tonight. Nova gave up 3 hits and no runs. Walking 1, fanning 5. Mark Reynolds played third base tonight for the Yankees, or today for the Yankees. A-Rod sat it out. Tapped to shortstop. Marwin Gonzalez makes it a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 3-1 Seattle. the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Showing you the throwing of Cody Clark. It's done down. Mr. Seager there, back in the 6th inning. And look at that short hop play.
A couple of challenging opportunities tonight. The first of those two pitched down around shoe top high. That's tough. You'd love to have the pitch up to come out and throw on, and then, of course, blocking a pitch and trying to make that play. But he has shown me through brief opportunities now that he can really play defensively.
Well, fans still enjoying the 7th inning stretch, singing deep in the heart of Texas. The Astros will be coming up against Carter Capps here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He got outs on Elmore on a foul pop and Gonzalez on a strikeout with 2 men on in the 6th inning. So Joe Saunders' pitching line for the game is 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits and 1 run allowed, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Saunders threw 86 pitches, 54 strikes, and he can be the winning pitcher. If he does, it would be his 3rd win against the Astros this season. Cody Clark leads it off. He bounced into a force play in the 2nd and grounded out in the 4th with a man in scoring position on a very good play by Miller, the shortstop. That's strike 1 to Cody Clark. Strike 2 to Cody Clark. Clark is down on strikes, has 3 in a row set down by Capps. Yoervis Medina's warming up in the bullpen.
Just kind of settled in on that slider and kept it down, and low percentage pitch for any hitter.
Robbie Grossman has grounded out all 3 times tonight. Kyle Seager comes in on the grass at 3rd. Strike 1 to Grossman. It's strike 2 to Robbie. That's 8 Nationals won. They're in the bottom of the 6th in Washington. 1-2. Tigers still lead the Indians 4-2. They're in the last of the 6th in Detroit. Omar Infante hit his 8th home run for Detroit. Detroit getting all 4 runs in the 2nd inning. Red Sox 5, White Sox 2. They're in the bottom of the 5th. That's a fair ball into the left field corner. Grossman hustling out of the box. He slipped a little bit getting to first, and it's well played by Almonte near the left field line, holding Grossman to a single.
Robbie doing a nice job. We've talked about it so many times. If he could, from the left side of the plate, come up with this type of swing that keeps the ball down, doesn't put it up in the air, line drive or ground ball, going the other way, he's got a great chance. His right-handed stroke exceptionally good. His left-handed stroke much improved, and a lot of pop in either side of the plate now.
LJ Hose is 1 for 3 tonight. Calling it back. There's strike 1. In that Boston-Chicago game at Fenway, 5-2 Red Sox after 5. Jake Peavy is pitching for Boston. John Danks is the starter for Chicago. Could be a really big month for fans of those AL East clubs. Boston trying to hang in. The Yankees have moved ahead of Baltimore now in the wild card race. Up the middle. And there's the flip from Franklin to Miller. He gets the force out on Grossman. Very well done up the middle by Franklin for out number 2.
Would have taken quite a creative and athletic effort there to complete a double play. But as this ball is taken at that point, there still may have been time. And I'm not sure that initially the shortstop Miller was aware that he had a shot at first.
Caps has come in with a jam, presenting him in the 6th inning with a 3-1 lead, 2 men on. He got out of that. And he has 2 outs here in the 7th inning. And now he'll turn it over to Yoervis Medina. Mariners 3, Astros 1, back in home.
Astros season tickets are on sale now. Lock in your seats by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Yoervis Medina's warming up in this 3-1 ball game. He will be pitcher number 3 for the Mariners. After Caps went an inning in the 3rd, he gave up 1 hit, didn't walk anybody, had a couple of strikeouts. Medina in 53 games has won 4. He's lost 3. His ERA is 2.51. He's kept the hits down, 40 allowed in 57 and a 3rd inning.
It's a figure that adds up to an opponent's batting average against it, 194. Great stuff. And left-handers taking the brunt of the heat, 167.
Among American League rookie relievers, he's first in holds with 15, 3rd in appearances, 3rd in strikeouts. And he faces Jose Altuve. Altuve has grounded out all 3 times. Medina pitched here Thursday night and got a hold in the 3-2 win and retired Altuve, who fouls it back. And he struck him out looking in the 8th inning in that one. So Altuve, that batting average plummeting here below 200 for the month of August, looking for a big hit. It away. And we were told that Jose's father is in Houston for the first time from Venezuela.
I wonder if his dad was involved in the jersey caper today.
Didn't hear anything about that. Reds lead the Rockies at Colorado 3-0. They're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Greg Reynolds on the mound for Cincinnati, the former Rocky. Brandon Phillips hit his 17th home run for the Reds. Throw goes over on LJ Hose. And for the Reds, a chance to pick up ground on whoever loses that Pittsburgh-St. Louis encounter. And Pittsburgh has the upper hand in that game right now. 7-1, bottom of the 6th inning at home. Both of them have identical 78 and 56 records. Altuve, it's a looping line drive over Miller into left center field. On the 0-2 pitch, he finds a good result. And the Astros have 2 men on with Dominguez coming up.
You want to make a tough pitch, obviously, on an 0-2, and right there, a tough pitch was made, probably off the outside edge. Sometimes it's just good hitting that wins out.
Now they just keep chipping away. That's hit number 8. Mariners have had 4. The Mariners got 3 in the first inning. Some softly hit balls with a couple of walks. One of those with the bases loaded. The Astros have been trying to come back at them ever since the second, when they had 3 walks and a single and failed to score. Dominguez has been involved with hits in the second and 6th innings, 2 for 3 from Matt.
This is the kind of scenario in which Matt Dominguez has had some of his best swings.
And here's one to left field, coming over Almonte, and Almonte in for the catch. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. We move to the 8th inning, still 3-1 Mariners. Chevron, care for your car at 110. It's Hisashi Iwakuma. He's 12-6 with a 3.03 ERA, 2-1 with a 1.89 against the Astros. Facing lefty rookie Brett Oberholzer. Brett 3-1. His ERA 3.43. And that's the matchup tomorrow. Coverage begins with Astros pregame live at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Houston. Oberholzer watching as lefty reliever Eric Bedard comes in for Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel in 7 innings allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, walking 2, fanning 8, and it's his second straight 7-inning start for the Astros. Bedard 3-10 with a 4.63. Eric has been a starter most of the season, but back in the bullpen as he was here for his save on opening night. Humberto Quintero leads it off in the 8th inning. He's 0 for 2, 2 groundouts.
It's intriguing tonight to look back to that first inning where Seattle scored all 3 of their runs, and the comments that at least I felt were applicable to the inning, that it was just one of those really tough innings for a pitcher, and the way the rest of the night turned out, that seemed to be the case.
Yes, it did. Give Dallas Keuchel credit for righting the ship. Eric Wedge's club got to 3 runs without hitting the ball that hard, but taking advantage of some things in that first inning. Now a line drive goes to right, and Quintero starts the 8th inning with a single. Bedard was traded to Seattle before the 08 season. Pitched for the Mariners there in 08, 09. He missed all of 2010 after left shoulder surgery. He's had that 3 times, and then was traded by Seattle to Boston in July of 2011. And he has lost 7 in a row now. Was in the rotation, but now back in the pen facing Brad Miller. Miller is 1 for 2, was hit by a pitch. And this one gets by the catcher Clark as he squared around a bunt. And that allows the runner Quintero to move to second base.
Don't know what happened right here. A catchable ball, it appeared. Sometimes when a hitter turns to bunt, that barrel can get in your eyes, but that didn't appear to be the case here.
Ruled a pass ball by Clark.
Whereas Bedard has been the tosser of a number of pitches this year that the other two catchers have said have just sailed all over the place and been tough to handle.
Round to bunt again. Miller takes it. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Gutierrez is on deck. Bedard gets a swing and a miss. That makes it 2-1. Bo Porter's very pleased with the fact that Bedard and Lucas Harrell, now Philip Humber, have been able to come out of the bullpen and give his club multiple innings, saving the other relievers. Philip Humber pitched 3 1/3 in relief last night. It's 3 balls and a strike. Bedard got the loss in Chicago against the White Sox, coming in with a 3-1 lead in the 7th inning, giving up 3 runs on 5 hits in 1 2/3. That was the Tuesday night 4-3 loss to Chicago in relief of Paul Clemens. Miller walks, and now 2 on and nobody out. Third walk by an Astros pitcher tonight. Gutierrez follows.
Bedard pretty consistently up as he comes on to work this 8th inning.
Gutierrez has hit the ball in the air all 3 times, as you can tell on that scorecard. Yankees now have moved a half game in front of the Orioles in the AL East. 4 games out of that second wild card spot. There's strike 1. The Yankees will be here to wrap up the season. Those might be quite meaningful games for the Pinstripers. Currently Oakland and Tampa Bay are in the lead in the wild card spots. There's a swing and it's 0-2 to Gutierrez. The Yankees still have time and still have the type of schedule allowing them to overtake those teams and get in as a wild card club. They're 8 games back behind Boston entering play today in the division. So that would really be a stretch as far as winning the AL East. But they could make it, I believe it would be 19 out of the last 20 years as a playoff team if they make the playoffs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They're just underway in Oakland. The Rays nothing, and the Athletics are batting in the bottom of the 1st with no score so far against Alex Cobb of Tampa Bay. Athletics won that game last night. In the air to left field, Robbie Grossman, and that's 1 out. Seager bats next. Nobody throwing in the Astros bullpen. Seager is 2 for 3. Sonny Gray starting for Oakland tonight against Alex Cobb. Well, that's awfully big for both those clubs, Tampa Bay and Oakland. And they currently are just a half game apart in the wild card race. Both are in a position to be wild card playoff teams if the season were to end today. Tampa Bay started the night 3.5 behind Boston. Oakland started the night 2 behind Texas. Seager looks at it and it's ball 1. Padres and Dodgers just underway, no score. They go to the bottom of the 1st with Andrew Kashner pitching for the Padres. Here it's Quintero who led off the inning with a single at second, and Miller who walked at first. It's It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Marlins and Braves are knotted at 4. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning in Atlanta. Justin Ruggiano hit his 16th home run for Miami. Giancarlo Stanton, number 18. And B.J. Upton chimed in with number 9 for Atlanta. He's had an awfully quiet year with a bat. 3 balls, no strikes.
Brother Justin had the great start to the season. Cooled off a bit, but he's been effective.
Twins won, Rangers won in Arlington, Texas. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brian Dozier hit his 15th for Minnesota. Seager takes a 4-pitch walk to load the bases with 1 out. Second walk of the inning for Bedard. And Kendrys Morales is coming up.
Great guy to get that ground ball that can create a double play. Morales doesn't run well, but the way Bedard is up so consistently here in the inning, the notion of getting a ground ball is kind of a far-fetched one.
Yeah, he's had a line drive hit, walk, towering fly ball to left, walk. So far, nothing on the ground. In the air, foul. Chris Carter going up the line and makes that catch. Here's the advance a little bit from third by Quintero just to see if he can draw a throw, but Carter alertly is going to run it back in. He's not going anywhere. He just wanted Carter to throw the ball away, and Carter refused to throw it. 2 outs. So a pop-up will work. It doesn't have to be a grounder, and Ibanez is next. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. But Bedard now with the 2 walks in this inning has walked 67 this year in 127 innings. Ibanez is 1 for 11 against Eric Bedard. That's ball 1. Some of the media doing the usual session with Bo Porter related to him the way Tony DeFrancesco managed the Astros last September, and they finished 15-15 in the month of September. Very good job by Tony D. Ibanez looks at a ball to make it 2-0, but Bo was listening as media members told him how Tony was alternating right and left-handers out of the bullpen with the September call-ups. He had a lot of relievers, and he certainly was not shy about using them last September. This one off the mid of Clark, but no advance by Quintero. He didn't even think about coming home.
I think Cody Clark has just been introduced to the sailing fastballs of Eric Bedard. That one very much like what Jason Castro has dealt with all season, to the glove side of Clark, and just gets eaten alive.
Now it's 3-0. Catcher's have had a rough time holding him this year. That's in for a strike.
The only guys I ever had through the years that threw a fastball that would sail on me, that felt at times uncatchable, were left-handed. And with Bedard, that's been the story all year long.
Big 3-1 pitch coming. And it's 3-2. Now it gets really big because the runners move. A 3-1 lead for Seattle. Houston has been packing away. Bedard trying to snuff out this rally. And it's a foul ball.
This winds up on that glove side again, and it leaves me wondering how dead on Cody Clark was on this pitch prior to the foul tip. It's on that side that fastball seems to sail most for Eric Bedard.
Two coming again with the runners moving. Bouncer back to Bedard. He is out of it, and this game remains close. No runs a hit, 3 men stranded. Bottom of the 8th coming, 3-1 Seattle.
Bottom of the 8th, it's 3-1 Mariners, and MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. Guys, some really great promotions during this homestand, including tonight. They gave away the free batting practice jerseys with the rainbow underneath and modeling it now. Well,
you
fits
took
perfectly.
Batting practice at Wrigley Field, so there you have it.
I wished I would have had this.
We want to show you something, Julia.
Uh-oh.
There's a guy with his batting practice jersey. Looking for. He has finally made it to a game. The old prospector. Been looking for him all year, and here he is tonight.
Oh my.
Yep. He's here.
Did you notice Julia did a little Carol Merrill there?
She did.
In showing the rainbow. That was really good.
Very well done, Julia. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and it's Chris Carter, 3-1 Seattle. Carter is 0 for 2 with a walk. Elvis Medina in the game. He's pitcher number 3. And his slider stays high. He came in and gave up an Altuve hit in the 7th inning and then got Dominguez on the fly ball to left.
On that fly ball hit by Matt Dominguez, he had a great swing and just simply got under it.
Well, that one sinks, and it's 2-0. Carter Capps win an inning in the 3rd. He gave up 1 hit, no runs. Justin Smoke is in the game at first base for Kendrys Morales. Capps had no walks and he struck out 2. Carter looks at it, and it's 3-0 to Chris.
Close pitch. Looked for a moment like Bruce Dreckman was going to call it. Looked for longer than a moment that Medina was looking for the call.
That's a strike. 3-1. Texas has Matt Garza on the mound against Minnesota. Mike Pelfrey pitching for the Twins. 1-1, bottom of the 6th. Ball 4. Carter takes a leadoff walk. Well, the Astros have done a good job of getting men on base. They've drawn 4 walks. They have 8 hits. That's 12 base runners. But only 1 run. They have stranded 9. Now Brett Wallace will be the pinch hitter for Brandon Barnes. Brandon was 2 for 3. The left-handed bat comes into play here for Bo Porter. And Wallace has a .226 average with 12 homers, 30 runs batted in. Possesses the ability to come up and get an extra base hit off the bench. He's 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter with 1 RBI. Mariners have been working out of the stretch most of the night. They had a 1-2-3 inning from Saunders in the 1st and again in the 5th inning. Other than that, there's been constant traffic. Wallace with a line drive, and it's foul. Uh-oh. Is he hurt?
Ball boy with a casual approach to this one. Well, that might have gotten a piece of body right there.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah, he's wounded. Strike 1 on Wallace. He ripped that one foul.
Not sure the ball boy was into that particular line drive.
Wallace looks at it. That's a ball to Brett. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Wallace is 1 for 6 in this series, and that 1 hit was a homer. Ground ball, Smoke. Smoke hits it to Miller. Miller back and throws it away. Wallace safe at first. The ball caroms back. And they're going to tag him, but he did not turn towards second, so it's out number 1 on the force play from 3 to 6. Wallace on.
Good swing by Brett. In fact, he had a couple of good swings in this at bat. That's doing what the skip wants you to do in that scenario. think the Mariners lose quite a bit of defensive ability at shortstop as they play the youngster Brad Miller.
Just sailed that throw. It's nowhere close to getting back to smoke.
Brendan Ryan is just such a gem down there.
Elmore's the batter. Jake has a walk, a single, and a foul pop. Marwin Gonzalez on deck. And there's ball one from Medina. Medina set it up for closer Danny Farquhar in the 3-2 win Thursday night. Medina went an inning and a third and didn't give up a hit, struck out 3. That's in for a strike to even the count at 1-1. Elmore looks at it, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Mariners have won 2 in a row following a 6-game losing streak. They're 11-16 in August. The Astros are 8-20 for the month. Now it's 3-1. Order with signs. They're relayed by Dave Tremblay, the third base coach. Tigers 6, Indians 3. They've played 7 in Detroit. Bouncer left side. Glove by Miller. Miller with a jump throw. What a play to get the out at second. And Franklin there to take it on the backhand side on a 1-hop throw for out number 2.
Well, no sooner do I make the comment about Brendan Ryan maybe being the superior shortstop than Miller comes up with some kind of play here. That is not easy at this point. Not a great throw and a fine pick on the other side. But when it's all said and done, this could be a game decider for Seattle.
Bet it could. Good stretch there by Franklin to receive the throw. They get Wallace for out number 2. And now it's Marwin Gonzalez. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and a walk. And ball 1 for Medina. It's a strike to even the count at 1-1. Breaking ball down and in, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Dallas Keuchel tonight in his 7 innings threw 109 pitches, 69 were strikes. The Mariners in the 9th will have Franklin, Ackley, and Almonte due up. Clark is on deck. Runner going. Here's a throw from Quintero, bouncing, and the tag from Miller. They call him out. Elmore is called out, so Quintero takes care of out number 3 on the call by Mike Everett. No runs, no hits, nobody left. It's 3-1 Seattle heading to the 9th. Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. We have changes for the Astros. Brett Wallace, who pinch hit for Brandon Barnes, stays in to play first base. We have a new center fielder. Robbie Grossman has moved from left to center. And there's Chris Carter. He's moved from first base to left field. Eric Bedard delivers, and there's ball one. Ninth inning underway with Nick Franklin taking that pitch. He is 0 for 2 with the bases loaded walk. That goes out to center field. It backs up Grossman. 1 out. The Astros have Gonzalez, Clark, and Grossman due up in the last of the ninth inning. Dustin Ackley got run number 3 home with a ground out in the first inning. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Strike for Bedard. Sonny Gray of Oakland has struck out 5 of the first 6 Tampa Bay Rays hitters. Youngster with good stuff. No balls, 2 strikes. Eric Berger had quite a month of August for Oklahoma City. He worked 4 innings of scoreless and hitless relief tonight for the Red Hawks. That's punched up the left field line toward the corner, slicing and going foul. So Eric Berger in August for Oklahoma City was 3-0 with a 1.58 ERA. Bedard's thrown 29 pitches so far. Day game coming tomorrow. In the air to left. Carter backing, checking the wall, and they're at the base of the wall. He takes care of out number 2.
Chris Carter appears to have made some strides forward defensively, especially as an outfielder this year.
Two outs, and it's Almonte now. Almonte 0 for 3 in this game. He looks at ball 1. It's 1-1. Bunted. Barehanded, Bedard flings it over the head of Wallace up the right field line. Picked up by L.J. Hose, and here's Almonte streaking to third. He can really scoot. Well, that guy can run.
We saw Almonte avoid a double play last night. I still don't buy into not getting him on that double play, but this one shows that he can really run, and that barehanded pickup oftentimes creates a poor throw. But look at this guy go. Took a glance toward third, and then, oh heck, nobody can throw these wheels out. And he can scoot.
It's ruled a bunt single and a 2-base error on the Bedard throw. That's Bedard's 3rd error of the year. Quintero, the batter. Strike 1 to Q. Well, his time from first to third was pretty doggone quick. Quintero lined a single to right in the 8th. One ball and 1 strike. It's 2-1. Over the screen, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Humberto Quintero. Reds now lead at Colorado 6-0. They're in the middle of the 5th inning. It's a full count now. No score at Los Angeles with the Padres and Dodgers. They're in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Foul ball. Keeps it at full for Quintero. Diamondbacks lead the San Francisco Giants after getting 3 in the 4th. It's 3-0 now in the middle of the 6th inning. Trevor Cahill still in for Arizona. Vogelsong started for San Francisco. Robbie Grossman's in right center field for Quintero, who often hits the ball there. He likes to attack that high pitch and drive it out to right center. Fouls that one off his leg.
I don't know if it's better off to do this in the 9th inning or find a way to do it earlier.
Boy. Was that the calf or the
Yeah, it looked
shin
like
bone?
the ball hit the ground and then came off the calf. So, although he's pointing at high up on the calf there.
Kevin Bass broke his shin bone doing that one time. Remember that? Fouled it straight down into his leg.
I had huge issues with both shins. I never broke a bone that I was aware of, but this didn't look like the initial blow hit the calf. It looked like it hit the ground.
I thought it went directly into it.
So okay, well, I probably need to see it again. So based on the way he's reacting, you would clearly be the one that's right.
Check this out.
Okay, there you go. I missed that initial contact on the calf. Yeah, that's got to be painful.
So this time of year, a catcher fouls balls off his legs, takes all kinds of balls in the dirt, foul balls. Boy, he's got to be nothing but a big bruise. Ground ball foul. I feel like you want to just jump in a tub of ice water after a game when you're a catcher this time of year to see if you're still alive.
Yeah, you can have those nights, and it doesn't always happen at the end of the year. Of course, you start getting the combo platter of injuries that kind of come at you, but can come anytime.
Dominguez throws him out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 3-1 Mariners. at Minute Maid Park. It's the Mariners 3, the Astros 1. The bottom of the ninth is coming. Stay tuned for Astros Post-Game Live, presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history. It's coming up. We don't know when. It might be a long time from now. It might be after an Astros bottom of the ninth game-winning rally. It's what these fans are hoping for. Seattle has other ideas, bringing in closer Danny Farquhar. Farquhar, a 25-year-old right-hander from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Went to Louisiana Lafayette. He's 0-2 with a 4.57. He has 10 saves in 13 opportunities.
Just a couple of dingers allowed. Opposition hitting .228. Left-handers getting abused. Right-handers have a good old time, .293.
Farquhar got the save in the 3-2 Mariners win here Thursday night. He worked a hitless inning. He had a walk to Matt Dominguez leading off the ninth inning in that one-run affair, but then ended the game on a 1-6-3 double play ball hit by Brett Wallace. Jason Castro, he's going to be pinch hitting for Clark. He'll be coming up second of the inning. Marwin Gonzalez will lead it off, then Castro, then Robbie Grossman against Farquhar. Yoervis Medina in 1 1/3 innings allowed 1 hit, no runs, had 1 walk, no strikeouts. After Carter Capps also worked 1 1/3 innings and didn't give up a run. So pitcher number 3 in relief of Joe Saunders is Farquhar. And that strike 1 to Gonzalez, who was at the plate when Elmore was thrown out trying to steal to end the 8th. Farquhar earned a save in each of the Mariners' 10 wins from August 3rd through the 29th. 1-1. Drafted by Toronto in 08 in the 10th round, and then traded by the Yankees for Ichiro in July of 2012. Farquhar, a rookie this year. He's pitched 3 times against the Astros. Count goes to 2-1 on Marwin Gonzalez. Astros have 8 hits to the Mariners 6, each club with 1 error. 3 balls, 1 strike. Seattle has stranded 6. Houston has left 9. Now it's 3-2. Marwin Gonzalez. Ball 4, leadoff walk. Gonzalez aboard. Jason Castro, the pinch hitter, batting for Clark.
Looked like a pretty close pitch there for ball 4.
It did.
A little off that outside edge. Nicely eyed by Marwin.
Cody Clark was 0 for 3. And now Castro, 279, 18 homers, 53 runs batted in. He's hit .435 in his last 8 games. 1 for 7 in this series with an RBI. His 8-game hitting streak was snapped last night as he went 0 for 4. Here's strike 1. Castro is 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter this year. Jason has a .620 slugging percentage for the month of August, 4th highest in the American League. He has a .459 on base percentage in August. That's 3rd highest in the American League this month. He looks at it and it's a ball. Even the count at 1-1. All 14 hits in this game tonight by the 2 teams have been singles. Strike makes it 1-2. Astros have won twice this year when they have trailed after 8 innings. Swing and a miss, and Castro has struck out for out number 1. Bobby Grossman will be next.
Turns to that breaking ball down and in. And I kind of wonder if this bat just simply came out of the hands of Castro out of that moment of frustration.
Farquhar, since he moved into the closer role with Tom Wilhelmson going to the minor leagues, has gone 10 for 11 in saves. Robbie Grossman is 1 for 4. Marwin Gonzalez does not have much of a lead at first. Grossman looks at ball 1.
Well, after Jake Elmore got thrown out to end the 8th inning, probably that running game takes a smaller possible impact here. That was an odd out.
Ground ball goes foul. It's 1-1. Foul ball, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count to Grossman with L.J. Hose on deck. Pirates beat the Cardinals 7-1 in Pittsburgh. A.J. Burnett, the winner, goes to 7-9. Lance Lynn goes to 13-9 with the loss. Russell Martin hits home run number 13. Pirates are in first by 1 game over St. Louis. Pirates are 79 at 56. They need 3 more wins to clinch their first winning season since '92. Swing and a miss. And Grossman's down on strikes, and now 2 outs for L.J. Hose. Farquhar facing Hose, who's 1 for 4. Jose Altuve comes out to the on-deck circle. Farquhar has the 3rd best strikeout average per 9 innings among American League relievers. He's averaging 13.7 punch-outs per 9. Slider in the dirt goes for ball 1. Astros trying to avoid their 91st loss of the year. And that goes for a ball to make it 2-0 to Hose. Angels are batting in the 9th inning at Milwaukee, trailing the Brewers 5-4. Twins and Rangers still at 1-1. They're in the top of the 7th inning in Arlington. Foul back. It's a 2-1 count now for Hose. Tap, Farquhar over, picks it up and throws to first base and gets him for the final out. Well, the Mariners have won the first 3 of this 4-game series. They came in and snapped a 6-game losing streak when they won the opener Thursday night. they take this one in another low-scoring affair. Eric Wedge's club registering its 62nd win. Final score, Seattle 3, Houston 1.